ground shake.
Guess what time it is? Alright, what's going on, guys? CJ here, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm gonna do some unboxings. There should be two things in this package. Technically three things, but two of the things go together and make it one thing. So, I'm counting that as one thing. So, what I have in here is a Canon 50mm 1.8 lens. Now, as I have said a few times in my past videos, as of late, I have moved over to Sony. I have a Sony a6500. That is not what is being used right now to film. I'm using my old Nikon D5300. But I do have my Sony prepped and ready to go because I'm going to hook this Canon 50mm up to that Sony. How? Using an adapter. Now, this isn't a Metabones or an extremely expensive an adapter. I did opt for one of the kind of the cheaper ones. Hopefully, it still works all right. I can't really afford a $400 adapter, and then the lenses. And the Canon 50mm, it was like I don't know, 120 bucks. Canon lenses, especially like 50mm, it's a 1.8, but being $120, that is extremely cheap for a 50mm. The Sony equivalent, 50mm 1.8 would run close to $500. That's how much the 35 was for it. I want to say it was actually a little bit closer to 400, but for a 35 prime 1.8 aperture, it was almost 400, I don't know, close to $500. So for a 50mm to be 120 and still be good, that's crazy. So altogether, with the adapter, this costs far less than half of what a 50mm Sony would cost. Now, this doesn't have image stabilization in lens, but that's okay because the Sony a6500 has built-in 5-axis stabilization. So theoretically, I can use any lens I want and still have stabilization, so it's not a big deal. But that being said, let's go ahead and open up this puppy. Remember, kids, knives can be sharp. Don't play with them at home. Always make sure you have an adult watching you while you open expensive lenses with your knives. I don't have an adult nearby because... Why don't I have an adult? I should be supervised, honestly. Alright, so first up here we have 50mm. This is the 50mm I was talking about. It is an EF 50mm 1.8 STM Canon. It's super small, which I love. It's made in Malaysia. And then here we have the, it's a Commlite autofocus NEX mount. So this should go from a Sony E mount, which is what I have, to a Canon EF. And it says autofocus. I'm not sure what it means by that, but I think autofocus will work, and if not, it's no big deal. I kind of use manual focus anyway when I'm doing videos, which is what I got it for. I mostly do video, and I would love to have a 50mm. Alright, so EF and EFS lenses to E-mount camera. That is exactly what I want. Image stabilization function, aperture control, supports autofocus. It is EXIF transmitting. Oh, it has built-in image stabilization function? That's crazy. I did not actually know that. And it does have a 1/4-inch female thread, so I can hook it onto a tripod. I don't know why you would hook this onto a tripod instead of the camera. I honestly, I don't see the... I guess if like you have a huge lens, that's when you do it, but I don't. This thing is tiny, so... Oh, and then the third thing in here. This is a UV protector. It's literally a lens cap. It's basically a clear lens cap, honestly. Smarter than a box. Smarter than a box. Okay. Comes in nice casing. It's foam all around it. Pull that out. So this is the puppy. It does come with, this looks like instructions here in Chinese. I'm gonna be sad if they don't have English. Oh, hey, look, English. Cool. Precautions when using this adapter with a tripod. While shooting with a tripod, do not use the camera's tripod mount socket while the adapter is attached. Be sure to use the tripod mount included with the adapter. Okay, so it looks like no matter what kind of lens I have, I'm supposed to use this is actually pretty heavy. It's solid. It is definitely solid. I'll give it that. So this is it. This is the little adapter. There's a fly buzzing around and it's driving me nuts because it's like one of those flies that's the size of a wasp. And so it sounds like a wasp, but it's a fly. But it sounds like a wasp and it freaks me out. Alright, so because I'm the genius that I am, I actually, I moved the camera up here so you could get a closer look. Speaking of which, I'm going to focus. I moved the camera up so you could get a closer look, and I actually didn't hit record. So, you're welcome. But anyway, I'm just going to show you real quick what this is right here. So I have my old Sony 35mm here, and then I actually have the 50mm on right now because I put it all together because I thought I was recording, and I didn't. Wasn't actually. So I'm going to take this off real quick. Bam. So this is going to go in here like that. And then this is going to go on top of here like that. Bam. So this is the 50mm. It's about the same size as my 35. And then here is the Metabones adapter, which is quite hefty actually. It's surprisingly heavy. And as you can see, I'm not going to leave that open too long, but I do want you to see in here, there's actually no glass on the inside. I believe Metabones, they do have glass on the inside, I'm pretty sure, but it does have the golden pins here for transferring electronic signals, which line up with the ones inside here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. So one thing I did figure out while I was recording and you guys weren't looking because how rude. Let me go ahead and put this back on. It just lines up with the red dot. Bam. We're going to turn it on and this extends. But I have no electronic manual focus. That made no sense. I have no electronic focus. I only have manual focus, which isn't a big deal because most of the time I do work with manual focus anyway, so I'm not at all that's not at all a concern for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this to manual so that my camera knows that it shouldn't be searching because it's trying to focus on stuff but it's not working for some reason. I just can't figure it out. So one thing that I did notice, it looks really good. Like I already love it. And since I do have the built-in image stabilization, I'm really like I'm just handling this right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to 120 frames a second. So one thing that I did notice while I was playing, I know I'm saying that a lot, I do apologize. However, the manual, you can see here, when I'm using this focus ring here, you can actually see that the end bit is actually moving because that's kind of how these lenses work, I guess. It's actually manually moving the glass back and forth, whereas with my 35mm, it's all internal, so I can just keep spinning the ring and nothing actually moves. It's all electronic. But this is physical, and as you can hear, it actually there's actually kind of a significant squealing. So that is something to think about when you're using this. If you have a microphone on top of your camera, that, you know, like a shotgun mic like I would be using, that is something to consider, because you will be able to hear it. Alright, so this has ended the whole unboxing. One thing I will not be able to do with this lens is record myself. So I do a lot of my shots, I do a lot of my videos and recordings alone. All of my skits I do alone. And one thing that has significantly helped me with that is Sony's built-in NFC, where it connects to your phone, and like the built-in app is the app for that is absolutely fantastic. I can control every single detail about the camera, except like frame rates and stuff like that. You have to control in camera, but once I hook it up with my phone, I can control the shutter speed, the focus, the aperture. Like, I can control all of that just through my phone, and I can see what it sees. I can't do that with this lens because I can't focus, and that's one of the absolute biggest things, even more than controlling all of the aperture and shutter speed and whatnot. The focus was a huge part of what I really liked about being able to use my phone. So unfortunately, I can't use this lens with the app to focus when I'm recording myself. I really don't think that's a huge deal though. You know, I'm pretty much going to be using the 50 for portrait photography. I hope you guys did enjoy this unboxing of the 50mm Canon 1.8 and the Commlite autofocus adapter. I have yet to test this with EFS lenses. I presume it would work the same though. Hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys over and out. How long have I been doing YouTube, but I can't get that right? I'll see you guys later. CJ over and out. Adios.